You know, that's one thing that's interesting about commentary currently as a whole, right? Is like there's a mix of a commentary events and styles, right? Yeah, as far as the tours go, I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed for CPT this year, we do a lot of rotations. On CPT, they generally have certain people set for each region that do most events. Like, for instance, in North America, it's usually like me, James, David, and then Steve or Yipes, and then whoever else is in the area. And whoever does the top 8 is usually rotated. And for Tekken, it's always Mark, Steve, and Rip. And sometimes for other events, like, you know, you have your MYKs and your Rixtas and your Renos and your Bloodhawks and whatever, right? It is important, though, for events to rotate between who is on commentary and make sure that it's not always the same people. Even if you think there's like a duo that's like the best, they should probably do a lot of the work, but you still need to rotate who's on there all the time. I think MK is probably not rotated quite enough. I think the reason I say that especially is because David and Aqua have done a lot of stuff, and clearly they want them to do a lot of the commentary for it. But my issue with David and Aquaman is I don't think they gel together super well, and I would like to see them split up a little bit more to try other pairs and combinations. Even the twins, I like the twins a lot, but it's cool to have the twins like split up and then have other pairs and stuff too. You don't always just want it to be the twins all the time, right? Yeah, Big D doing commentary at ECT was cool too. You know, people always say stuff like that. They always say like, man, I'd love to see Sajam commentate Dota or something. They'd be like, oh, it'd be so cool. You know how long it would take me to fucking be ready to commentate Dota? Talk about the strategy this team is going for. I mean, you know, they picked Earthshaker. They picked fucking, you know, this hero. They're trying the team fight, baby. Blink Dagger hit R. GG's. Big fan. Echo Slamma Jamma. Fissure. W, you get the deal. I watch a lot of other games in general because I want to hear what their commentators sound like. Dota commentators are great. To be honest, I think that the Dota commentators are definitely more expressive and they don't fit into their molds as much as League of Legends commentators. Some League of Legends commentators, and especially hosts, I feel like fit into this mold where like they sound very trained. If you have a certain style and you want them to say certain things, that's one thing. But the sound is the part that I think you have to back off a little bit about. You know, if they're uniform in what the kinds of things they say, that's one thing. But when their sound is similar, that's when it's a little, I think, it grates on the listening experience as a viewer. Particularly with the voices that sound very similar. My issue with them is that many of the times, most of their lines are delivered like they are planned to be used in a hype video. And I think that's one thing to think about B-roll footage, but I think it's another thing for all of your voice lines to sound like they're supposed to fit in B-roll footage. Because they're not. You can definitely be more relaxed and a little bit more. And I think that helps the analysis come through clearer. When the analysis is very like, he's going to get it and this team is out of control. It's a runaway train. Like they have these like, you know what I mean? Like the way they deliver it is always like, you can tell they're planning its use in the future or something, right? And the way it's delivered, I'm like, nah, man, you just got to be a little bit more relaxed and give us the actual analysis of what's even happening. When you're doing analysis, you really have to break it down to the simplest possible way and deliver it in a way that if you and I were chilling on the couch, that's the way I think about it. If you and I are chilling in the couch and you're like, what the fuck is this game? I'm like, all right, well, you don't know shit about this game, right? I'll just tell you what's happening on the screen. What's happening here is this. Like, this dude, he's really good at this. And that guy is really good at this. This is what we're looking for on the screen. You gotta make it like me and you chilling on the couch. The further you separate that, I think, from your analysis, the harder it is to really grasp it. Do I admire sports commentators? Not usually. I feel like when I listen to sports these days, there's too much of their commentary that sounds less like commentary and more like planned lines they're reading over and over. Usually, to me, sounds too like, all right, it's 3rd and 4th here. Number 76, Michael Umahara. He's 7 for 15 when he's been put in this position while he's home in the last 3 years. And as a reminder, 2 years ago, he used to play for the Tokyo, Shoehorns. And now he's moved on over to this team. And it's like, okay, well, all these stats and information and stuff is like cool. But like, what the fuck is happening on the screen? What are they setting up? What's the plan? Like, what does the coach like to run in this position? Like, I got none of this, right? Like, I just got these stats and information that I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. It's like 3rd and 4. What play should they run on 3rd and 4? Are they going to fake something? Is it going to be play action? Are they going to run the ball? What are they going to do? I just got to look at the screen and not listen to anything that's happening, and that sucks, right? You don't want to have to do that. Yeah, for us in fighting games, it's definitely very different, our experience. In particular, it's why I'm hesitant when it comes to stats. If somebody comes up to the stage and I tell you all about them and all they do and stuff, it's because I know who they are, because I did my research. Nobody did research for me. I don't have a team to help me do research. I don't have stats that somebody has dug up for me. So I can just tell you what I can tell you about the player. And the only time I can prepare for certain players is when I'm looking at the brackets for a tournament, I'm watching stuff during the week, or if it's top 8 time or top 16 time. Like, I can tell you when I'm going to do a top 8 for an event, I sit down and I watch all the qualifying matches that happen beforehand, if I can, and think to myself, their style, how they match up against whoever they're playing against, what is their path like in brackets, and what are the matchups like, and is there any other relevant information about them and any of the other players in the top 8 or recent results for events? If there's a big event coming up, I will prepare certain stuff for certain players that I expect to make it far. And I won't always get to use that, but preparing stuff for players is fine because, and I've talked about this before, if I prepare lines for Fenrich at a tournament and Fenrich happens to get 9th and I never commentate a Fenrich match, it's fine because at the next tournament, Fenrich will be in top 8. You know what I mean? And my research will have been justified because at that tournament, my research is probably like 95% still valid. The stats thing is, I think a lot of people really fixate on the stats. And the game 2K posts a lot of really interesting stats on Twitter and stuff, and I like reading it and I enjoy it. But when he tweets it to commentators and stuff, I will only use stuff that is really easy and quick and people will understand. Fighting games are fast, right? Like, that stuff is cool if it's done pre or post match, but mid-match, I would rather delve into what's actually happening. We don't have a lot of time. You know, it's hard. Commentary is hard. And a lot of times when I watch something like ECT, I see a lot of people talking shit. Or when I watch something like EGX, I see people talking shit. Commentary is rough, you know? Even if you think about commentary a lot. It was funny, I was talking to Seth Killian at Evo about commentary, and I was discussing with him all the ways that I've designed or worked on my commentary to make it a very specific style and improve on the style that I have and mesh well with others. And he was like, wow, I just do it. And it was like a very perfect answer for how he is and how I am, because I feel like that's like a very normal answer for like fighting game players too, right? Where you're like, okay, well, I have this setup. It's very safe here. It works like this. It does that. It stops this move. It beats that move. It's plus this on block, and OS is this. And then the other guy's like, I don't know. I walked up and did meaty sweep because I thought he'd backdash. He's just very like normal. The way he is like, you know, the way he discusses stuff is very different from most commentators. He's very focused on the feelings of players and the psychological part of fighting games and why those are beautiful. And he's like a psych professor. The way he explains the thought process of fighting game players is so particular to him. You know what I mean? That no one else can do that kind of stuff. Fighting games? You guys ever heard about fighting games? Let me spread the good word. Fighting games? Y'all know about fighting games?